excuse me, and a pylon down around the destructible debris so that he is aware of any units that are going to be warping in pretty quickly. But there's a huge group of Zerglings that's getting ready for Graki Chan, so we'll see what they're able to pull off. There's the Overlord getting into position. Is this pylon far enough to put a Zealot up there? I don't think it quite is, but oh, there's a few coming in over behind the units for Lucky Eddie. Chinese Wife has a few Zealots over at the middle of the base. And he's going to have to pull back, as now here come the Zerglings. Oh, a nice force field, though, preventing the Zerglings from getting in. They are going to start attacking the supply depot. Lucky Eddie is losing his Zealot. The rest of the units for Chinese Wife coming in, trying to take out this pylon, it appears. But Graki Chan and Chinese Wife really throwing away a good bit of units here to take out that pylon, although more can be warped in by Chinese Wife, and it looks like he is doing just that. So here go the rest of the units for an odd number. And Chinese Wife and Graki Chan looking very, very strong already.
Yeah, like the Zerglings and the Zealots are just doing an insane amount of damage. Meanwhile, a Dark Shrine is also almost complete for Chinese Wife, and as soon as some DTs get into the mix here, I don't think there's anything that an odd number and Lucky Eddie are really going to be able to do.
I mean, that's a really brilliant plan as it is, mostly due to the fact that their opponents are going to be, you know, Lucky Eddie and an odd number are going to be so worried about just bringing in whatever units they can to hold this off. Detection is going to be the furthest thing from their minds, and even just one or two well-placed DTs is going to be able to completely clean up this force. So an odd number putting up a bunker, but that wall is now completely decimated. There are the first of the Dark Templar. They are going to move in, and God, look how quick they just run through Zealots. It's not even fair, just moving through. Those DTs so beautiful, so powerful, and they're going to take out the rest of those forces with relative ease.
Yeah, it looks like Graki Chan and Chinese Wife are actually doing some resource sharing, because Chinese Wife is actually only mining off one gas. So I got to say, their execution in this game has just been awesome. You know, they clearly came into this game with a very well thought out plan, and they have just executed it. And it looks like they're going to be able to take this game down.
Yeah, and so the DT's moving in and taking out the rest of those units. Is there another scan ready for an odd number? No, he's not even close. And there are no Robo up for Lucky Eddie as well, so nothing's going to come in there. This DT has already gotten 8 kills, just moving in and taking out the rest of those units. There's the GG out of everyone, really. And so that is going to be a win very quickly for NYU.
Yeah, that didn't take long at all. I mean, that was a pretty quick game. Pretty textbook, though. I mean, what else can you say other than that just went into the game with a good, solid plan, executed well, took advantage of, what they could take advantage of, and just phenomenal 2v2 play. That's the kind of stuff that just goes to show, how much you need to be playing 2v2 and just how complicated it really is when you can do insane rushes like that.
Okay, guys, so we're going to be back here in just 1 second. Again, while we get that match started, we will be back after a quick break. So see you guys on the other side. Okay, so match incoming here. Let's make sure. Okay, so it looks like Exo already saying that he is ready. Just waiting for the boy to hand things over to me. We'll be here in just 1 second, of course. Hope you guys have enjoyed the matches. This is Cat's Pajamas alongside UMBC. We are broadcasting the CSL, the Collegiate Star League Round of 32 playoffs. And let's see here. Guy the Boy saying, so I was wondering, you two narrate my life for me? So Guy the Boy, temporarily host of this match. It appears as though he wants to give this over to Cat's Pajamas in the relative near future. He mildly muses to himself. That's the best I've got, Guy the Boy. I'm sorry. I hope it was sufficient. All right, so there's the GLHF to our players. If they're ready, then let's go ahead and move on to the matches. So there they are. And I believe he already said, Goobus already said ready before, so there it is, GLHF. And we'll get started for the next match here of this CSL matchup between University of Houston and New York University. Begin recording in 3, 2, 1, mark. So thanks, guys, again for joining us. This is the Cat's Pajamas. I'm here with UMBC. We are broadcasting the Collegiate Star League Round of 32 playoffs, day number 4, a matchup between University of Houston and New York University. Here at the 6 o'clock position on Shattered Temple, we have University of Houston's David Hart, otherwise known as 11 Gaming's EXO. He's a 3900 Masters Pro Toss player with a 52% win rate on the ladder. He is mostly a 1v1 player. He has a 16-2 record in 1v1s against Zerg. He is undefeated, going 3-0, and he is currently on a 5-game winning streak. His opponent at the 3 o'clock position is Kendrick Lau, also known as Goobus, or Go Abus. I'm going to go with Goobus for the time being until I'm corrected, though. He's a 3100 Masters Zerg with a 54% win rate on ladder. Overall for the CSL, strictly a 1v1 player. His record is 7-4. His record versus Protoss 1-2. And we are spawning close positions here by ground on Shattered Temple. Something that I think that EXO will be happy to see, but maybe not so much as Zerg opponent.
Yeah, absolutely. The close spawn position really makes it very tricky for Zerg. We do see EXO throwing down that first pawn on the low ground, definitely going to be making a forward tracing. Ooh, actually making a gateway on the low ground. Now, this is something I haven't really seen before. It should be pretty interesting to see how this plays out, because there's going to be a lot of exposed surface area on those buildings early on, and we do have a gas pool opening from Goobus here.
Yeah, EXO's probably the player I've actually spec'd the most in my entire casting career. I've probably seen easily 100 or 150 of his matches, and I don't know what he's going to do close positions or if this is going to be altered, but in more macro-oriented situations, he's been loving this 3-gate expand into a Stargate build, actually. Very heavy Phoenix play, and so we'll see if he's going to end up going with that or what he's going to do, or if he'll just completely throw me for a loop. But EXO is already getting ready, appears though, to wall off this wide choke point. He's dancing around this pro for a little while. Ooh, there's the second gateway. He does have gas up though, and he is mining it at a pretty good rate, so I'll be curious to see what he goes into, but it looks like we are in store for a couple early gateway units.
Yeah, I'm a bit surprised he opted to throw down that second gateway because, of course, he did have his gas up. It looks like it might just be some kind of a fake, almost, as he is adding the Cybernetics core in his main with a lot of Chrono Boost saved up, and you would think if he wanted to be aggressive, he would have been Chrono Boosting out additional Zealots, which, of course, he's not, so I'd have to imagine he might be going for a Warp Gate rush, in fact, although he did just toss down 2 more Chrono Boosts there, actually Chrono Boosting out the second Zealot. So we'll have to just kind of wait and see when he wants to get aggressive here.
Yeah, so he is, like you said, Chrono Boosting out the second Zealot to begin with. So that's already out. He now has the 2 gateways ready to go. His Cybernetics core about to finish, so he can pretty easily go over to some Stalker or some Sentry production. Looks like indeed we are going to see Sentries. And, you know, he's made himself this smaller choke point, and it makes it a lot easier to defend with Sentries. So this is pretty smart positioning. I mean, it does expose those gateways to pretty early harassment, but, you know, if you're able to hold it off like this and just wait until the Stalker and Sentry get up, it's going to be pretty easy to defend, all things considered. And Goobus is about 2/3 of the way done with his hatchery, already moving over 1 queen, having pooped down a creep tumor. Second queen is out, and Zergling speed about to finish here very soon.
Looks like EXO is sending out a probe, trying to see what's going on. He hasn't been able to see that hatchery yet, but it looks like the probe is fortunately going to be able to get there, so he's going to be able to see exactly what's up. Actually, did he see the hatchery there?
No. Look, no, he doesn't, actually. So, we need to switch off of his view because he's playing at about 150 APM, and that made my screen spaz for a second. But here comes EXO moving up now. He is going to push right in. Those Zerglings are trying to go after the Sentry. That Sentry moving around, but it's not going to go down, I don't think, and that Queen could fall very quickly. The Queen on the high ground doing some damage, but it is being force fielded off. That Queen on the low ground is going to fall. Multiple Zerglings coming out. That's eventually going to clear this up, but the damage has already been done. Oh, look at this positioning out of EXO as well. He is picking off so many Zerglings, and now just the Stalker and Sentry left. They will eventually go down, but not before EXO has done all the damage he wanted to do.
Yeah, that actually is going to end up being a pretty good trade there for Exo, as Goobus hasn't done another inject, and he hasn't even actually queued up another queen, so he's going to be pretty dang short on larva. There he goes, finally injecting, but he does have 4 roaches about to pop here, and he does also have lair tech, so if he actually got burrow up, his opponent, a burrow bust, actually could do a ton of damage. There is no forge, there is no robo, so if he does get that burrow up, that could actually just outright win him the game.
Yeah, next we're going to a very, very heavy gateway play right now. He does have his 4th gate under construction. Excuse me, actually hasn't warped in his 3rd one. There, goes into a warp gate now, but no robo in sight, like you said, no forage around. So this is going to be, looks like a very, very Sentry Zealot heavy army for the time being. Now we have another Sentry coming in that's going to force these Zerglings away. There's no way they can come in with just that force. With these Roaches, it would be a pretty even fight right now with good force fields. But, you know, Exo's going to be able to reinforce so quickly that I don't think his opponent's going to be able to attack him just right now. Here come the next 4 Roaches, though, so we may see a very, very concerted attack here in a second, as Goobus has decided to really just kind of quit drone production, waiting for this burrow to get finished, and this is pretty close to an all-in.
Yeah, I mean, he stopped drone production around 25, so he's really committing heavily to this attack, but, you know, there's no robo. I am just so scared for Exo right now. He's going to be in a ton of trouble as soon as Goobus decides to engage here. Of course, he doesn't have too many roaches. He's opted to mix in a lot of Zerglings, too, which we'll have to see if that's going to be working out, because there's a pretty well-balanced army from Exo with a pretty reasonable amount of Zealots, so the Zerglings won't necessarily be too effective. And I mean, you know, if he's forced to burrow and all the Zerglings die, it's not really going to be too effective, but here he goes.
And the Zerglings are burrowing. The force field's cutting off a lot of those roaches, but with good control here, Goobus is going to be able to stop all of those. I still don't see any sort of forge around. I see no robo, so these roaches are going to be so cost-effective. They're going to be able to pop up with new health all the time, just before Exo is able to heal up his units, but still, he's already going through a lot of those roaches. Goobus allowing a lot more of those to die than perhaps he should, and Exo still does have the larger force. Now we see both a forge and a robotics facility going up at the same time. A couple more roaches are falling down. Goobus trying to do what he can, but Exo is still making pretty quick work of all these units, continuing to reinforce force and really just delaying until this forge gets done. But even now, Goobus has lost a huge amount of forces.
Yeah, that just was not a good trade at all for Goobus, and with the Robo finished, with the Robo just about done in this Forge finish, he's in a ton of trouble. There goes the cannon, so any aggression with Burrow now isn't really going to be effective at all, and he has gone back to producing drones, but he is just so far behind in the worker count, it's going to be almost impossible to catch up, and of course, with these close spawn positions, taking a third base is going to be nearly impossible.
And the 2-base Protoss is a 2-base competent Protoss will beat a 2-base competent Zerg most of the time, just because of production capabilities. And Exo is going to be in an excellent position, especially with that increased economy. Even with the 6 new drones that are coming up at the same time, that's still going to represent almost a 15 drone gap when all is said and done. So still a huge economic advantage for Exo, and more importantly, his opponent is not producing any units while this is going on, so Goobus is really far back. He's putting down a couple of creep tumors. He does have roach speed coming up, and real quick, while we have a quick lull in the action, I just want to say how much I freaking love the CSL. I see so many people in chat that are shouting out their schools. Let's hear it for the University of Houston and the New York University fans cheering for their team. That's an awesome sight to see. The CSL is amazing, and I can't wait to see this more in esports in the future.
Yeah, I mean, I gotta say, I love what the CSL is doing. I think it's such a great thing, and it's only going to get bigger and bigger. You know, this is the kind of stuff that, you know, it's just going to grow and grow and grow. It really is pretty awesome, especially, you know, with all the other tournaments that are coming up related to it, like the one upcoming, I believe it's in, was it Indianapolis, that you'll be casting live?
Yep.
Yeah. But either way, back to the game here. We've got the roaches charging in now. It's not a lot of roaches, but they do have speed. And Burrow, there is an observer out now, so he has to be careful. Doesn't want to get caught burrowed somewhere, and wisely pulling back.
And so, yeah, EXO does have a pretty good force. He's up now by 14 supply overall. His resources invested in Army is quite a bit smaller, but then again, at this point, he's up by 21 probes still, so he's going to be able to produce whatever he wants, whenever he wants. Smart decision to go to a Hydralisk Den now, as EXO hasn't converted over to that robotics bay quite yet. I don't believe, no, he does not have it. He is going to move in for a big attack.